A tragic story has emerged that has left an entire community shaken, a chilling reminder of how one single decision can alter the course of a life forever. A woman's life has been cut short after she reportedly refused to leave a party with a man known to authorities as a dangerous criminal. What was meant to be a night of fun, laughter, and celebration has now turned into a haunting tale of heartbreak and irreversible loss. Her name is now etched in the memories of friends, family, and those who followed her story, a reminder of just how fragile life can be when darkness looms close by. The details surrounding this incident are both disturbing and deeply saddening. According to eyewitness accounts, the party started like any other. The music was loud, the drinks were flowing, and the atmosphere was charged with excitement. But among the guests was a man whose name had long been tied to criminal activity, a man that many whispered about behind closed doors, the man known to have been involved in situations that no ordinary person would ever want to be near. This man reportedly pressured the woman to live with him, but she refused. Those who were there claim she stood her ground, insisting she was not interested, insisting she was safe where she was, then determined not to let herself be intimidated. Unfortunately, that decision placed her directly in harm's way. The horrifying turn of events that followed is something her loved ones may never fully recover from. Reports suggest that tensions escalated quickly. Witnesses recall heated words exchanged, followed by an eerie silence that filled the room. No one expected what came next. By the end of the night, the life of a vibrant young woman was cruelly stolen, her laughter silenced forever. The room that once echoed with music and chatter became the scene of unthinkable tragedy. Friends who had celebrated alongside her were left in tears, unable to comprehend how quickly joy had turned into horror. The reality of this case highlights a painful truth about the dangers of associating, even indirectly, with those who walk on the darker side of life. This was not just a random accident, it was a direct consequence of violence, power, and the consequences of refusing to bow to intimidation. Her refusal to live with a known criminal was an act of courage, but tragically, it became the very moment that sealed her fate. In a world where so many women are forced to make choices between safety and dignity, this story becomes even more devastating. What makes this story even more heartbreaking is the woman behind the headlines. She was not just a statistic or a cautionary tale. She was someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone who had dreams, goals, and plans for tomorrow. Those who knew her described her as kind-hearted, full of life, and determined to make a difference in the world. She loved deeply, laughed freely, and lived passionately. And now, her absence leaves a void that cannot be filled. Communities are often quick to focus on the crime and the criminal, but what must not be forgotten is the life that was lost. Her story deserves to be remembered, her voice deserves to be heard, and her legacy deserves to live on beyond the tragedy. Too often, victims are overshadowed by the names of those who hurt them, but this woman's memory deserves to shine brighter than the darkness that stole her away. As this story circulates online, reactions have been flooding social media. People are outraged that someone with such a dangerous reputation was even allowed into the party in the first place. Many are questioning how a man with such a record could still move freely among unsuspecting people. Others are mourning the senseless loss of a woman who should have been celebrating life and not facing her final moments. The debate grows louder: could this tragedy have been prevented, and what does it say about the responsibility of communities to protect each other from known threats? Law enforcement officials have confirmed that they are investigating the incident, and while details are still unfolding, there is a growing demand for justice. No one should ever be able to walk into a party, intimidate a woman, and take her life without facing the full weight of the law. Justice must not only be served for her, but for all the countless women who live in fear of men who misuse power, fear, and violence to control those around them. But beyond justice, there is also a message here for all of us. This story is a sobering reminder to trust instincts, to recognize danger even when it comes disguised in familiar places, and to understand that courage sometimes comes with heartbreaking consequences. Her refusal to live with him was her final act of bravery, a stand for her autonomy and safety. And though her life was stolen, her courage should never be forgotten. For everyone listening to this, let this story serve as a wake-up call. Think about the people around you, the choices you make, and the risks you take when ignoring the warning signs of dangerous individuals. It is not weakness to walk away, it is not cowardice to avoid confrontation, and it is never wrong to put your safety above everything else. This woman's tragedy can become a lesson that saves others if we allow her story to guide us toward caution, awareness, and the protection of ourselves and those we love. To her family, friends, and loved ones, words will never be enough to fill the void left behind. Their grief is immeasurable, their loss beyond comprehension. But perhaps in the outpouring of support, in the retelling of her story, and in the pursuit of justice, they can find a measure of solace knowing that she is remembered not only for how her life ended, but for the life she lived and the strength she showed. If you've been moved by this heartbreaking story, I ask you to take a moment to reflect. Share this with others, raise awareness about the dangers of violence and intimidation, and most importantly, honor her memory by living your life with caution, courage, and compassion. Stories like this should not just be consumed and forgotten. They should inspire change, awareness, and the determination to never let another life be lost in such a senseless way. And before you go, I want to remind you, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. It helps us continue to share stories that matter, stories that need to be told, and stories that may even save lives. Your subscription, your support, and your engagement keep these voices alive. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us as we continue to bring light to both the tragedies and the triumphs of our world. This woman's story deserves to be remembered, and together, we can ensure it is never forgotten.